Record of Youth is about a group of young people who are pretty much trying to achieve their dreams in the big world.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden.
When the show started, it had so much potential, in my opinion. But when I saw that the two main lead couples got together in in the very beginning, I was like, ugh, I already knew that they were gonna break them up and pretty much over something ridiculous. And then they would get back together, I guess. So pretty much the way that the story goes is that there were three friends that pretty much grew up together. Two of them wanted to be movie stars and wanted to be models. The third one, pretty much, he wanted to go into photography, right? So it was hard for the two that were in modeling and um, for the two that were in modeling and then wanted to become actors. The reason I say it's hard is because, one of them is rich and the other one is poor. Now, keep in mind that the third one, who's going into photography, is also poor. And, you know, overall in the show, he ends up getting with the rich one's sister, right? And the mother is just not happy about it, obviously, because that's how it always is. So the rich and the poor, right? So they're friends. The poor one, his mom works for the rich one's mom. So she pretty much goes into their house a couple of days a week and cleans and cooks. And sometimes earlier on, like she would take clothes that they didn't want and the poor one would wear. So this was very common when they were younger. And so when they went to the same school, and he would come wearing a jacket, and the other kids would be like, wasn't that your jacket? So it was very embarrassing for him, but he loved his mom and he pretty much had a better interaction with his mom than his dad. The relationship with his dad wasn't that good because his dad wanted him to um, wanted him to pursue more concrete stuff, right? Because he would get a role, and then something would happen, and then he would lose it. So his dad wanted more concrete stuff, or his dad wanted him to. There was also the whole he had to go to the military, right? But he kept postponing it, and his dad did not want him to. And then his dad also had the issue with the fact that his own father lost their money. So with the way his father was acting and the way his son was acting, so the father had his own issues that he needed to deal with as well, right? So in order to get a job too, the son enrolled his father into like this 50s modeling thing. So, eventually the grandpa ended up getting deals for modeling down the road, which I thought was pretty cool in terms of like the grandpa, right? So he became like famous and whatnot. So which was good. But let's get back to the two friends. So the two friends, the reason the focus was more on them than the third one, because they were the two that were going into the same thing. So they went into modeling together and they went into acting together. Now, the one that's rich, his mom used to, like, she's his manager, and she pretty much used everything to get him what he wants and what he didn't know he wanted, right? So if there was like a big role, his mom would use her connections to get him the role. She would even like buy him social media followers. But he didn't know that his mom was doing that until like middle or to the end, when like a competing actor was like, you know, like, it doesn't make sense to me how your followers are going overnight when you're not even that big of an actor, right? So, but he just thought that people loved him because everywhere he went, and plus he's cute. Everywhere he went, people give him attention. So he just thought, like, okay, I was getting this. So he confronted his mom like towards the end, and then he was the one who ended up going to the military. But I think the other one went too because he had to. Um, but overall, what really annoyed me is the fact that um, comes in the girl. The girl is a makeup artist, and she was doing their makeup at first. She's a big fan of the one that doesn't have a lot of money. So when she was doing both of their makeup, she lied and said she was the rich one's fan. And then I guess because she said that, ever since then, he started liking her too. But um the other two were still hanging out, and then that's when they started going out early on in the season. And I'm like, they're not gonna keep them together, right? Look, look. And then that's exactly what they did. So he went through a lot. So there were many times when him and his friend were not really fighting, but like they were auditioning for the same roles. And the other one would always get it because his mom was doing things in the background. But the poor one, he didn't really have good management until the lady who used to be a secretary, I think, decided she was going to be a manager, and she started managing his career, and she pretty much got him on track. And finally he landed this big role, right? So like he started getting more he started being more out there. And then you know that's when I'm guessing he was his mentor. His mentor decided to unalive himself when he got big, and then all of a sudden that was the factor to ruin his career, and that was the factor for those two to break up. I'm like, and they dragged it on, how his career would be ruined because of, I don't even know. I don't even remember. That's how stupid I thought it was. Like, he passed away, he left him a text, and his manager kept saying, like, if you just revealed the text, um, it won't be in public eye anymore. And I'm just like, oh, like, but the the um the person who unalived himself was gay, but I don't understand how any of that had anything to do with him and his career, or why did he even unalive himself when the boy became, when he finally caught his first break. And then cue in the ex-girlfriend who had to come in and do the publicity, and the ex-girlfriend pretty much broke up with him because he wasn't he didn't have enough money. That's pretty much why she broke up with him in the past. um well, she didn't break up with him, she did this scheme that he would catch her with another guy and he would break up with her. And I'm like, ugh. So then, he ended up breaking up with his girlfriend because, well, she broke up with him because she's like, oh, she needs to start her business because she went off on her own to become a yeah, because she was doing makeup. And then she was also relying on the rich one because the rich one liked her to get her to places and stuff like that. And then I'm like, she's like, oh, I need to do my business on my own, right? Start my business on my own. And I'm like, but you didn't really start it on your own though, because the customers you were getting, he referred them to you, and his friend referred the customers to you. So you're breaking up with him to go start off on your own when you didn't really start off on your own. So I don't know. The whole story just didn't make the whole series just, it was pointless to me. I mean, not really pointless. Like you could see he was really trying to make a name for himself. And pretty much so was the rich one. He was trying to make a name for himself. It's just his mom was just too overbearing and she was pretty much trying to dictate his life. And the girl, she had her own mom problem because her mom left her father because the father didn't have money, but then the father ended up being rich at the end, and she didn't want her father's help. And I'm like, dude, what is your problem? Your father, it's your father. Your father has money. Your father wants to help you. It wasn't until like the end of the show that she accepted the money from her father. And I'm like, I don't know, sometimes they try to write these things to make people seem so. I can understand if you don't want to get help from a stranger or you don't want to get help from your friend, but it's your father wants to help you. Like you struggled with your father, you struggled with your mom, and then your father caught a break and now he wants to help you, but you're like, no, I want to do this myself. When if you like take a step back, she didn't really realize it by herself. So it was like all this is pointless, which is why I give this whole show like a 6 because I I don't know. I would never watch it again. It had some good actors, but um like that was partially why I watched it. Um but even in the end, if you look at it, they didn't really get back together. It was just they were at the same, he was acting, um he was gonna act in this movie. It was at this movie set, and then she came to do makeup for some of the actresses or actors, and then they just saw each other and then started talking while they, and I'm like, what kind of stupid ending is this to this love story? Didn't even like hug, didn't even like kiss, didn't even do anything. So I'm just supposed to assume that they got back together based on that. And you had gotten them together in the beginning. And I don't know. To me, it wasn't all that good. And if you want to check it out, you could go ahead and check it out. But me personally, I really wouldn't recommend it. It's really not my cup of tea. But yeah.
And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.